Lacuna Health is a call center that goes beyond answering calls. Our highly trained staff handles the clinical needs of patients and extends the care of your practice 24/7. Our experienced RNs offer HIPAA-compliant nurse triage that helps to reduce unnecessary emergency room visits and monitor patient health using your standards and protocols. We answer calls within 30 seconds, and patients have nursing care within 30 minutes. Click Contact Us at lacunahealth.com to see how we can help.
Finally, a bed that senses snoring and automatically responds. Meet the Ergo Smart Base from Tempur-Pedic, our first system that detects snoring, then automatically adjusts by raising the bed. Get your best sleep all night, every night. Now, save up to $500 on select adjustable mattress sets during the Tempur-Pedic Black Friday event. Get full offer details at TempurPedic.com.
Hey, and welcome to the HA Podcast. I'm Danny Sheriff, the host of this podcast, the founder of the HA Society, and an HA recovery coach who has walked wherever you currently are. This is the place to come if you care about getting your period regularly. This podcast aims to educate, inform, and keep you motivated on your period and HA recovery track. I would love it if you could rate and review this podcast, 5 stars only, to help make this podcast easier for other women with HA to find it. And last thing, nothing from this show should be taken as medical advice. Please seek the advice of your physician. The concept of getting your period back is easy, but why is making the commitment so hard? Why does it take so long to get to a point where you're confident enough in the process to go for it? Well, for a lot of reasons, and breaking down those reasons that hold us back is one of my main missions. And that is why I created the 7-day HA Recovery Commitment Challenge. It's a completely free challenge that is 100% inside of email. So you can start your 7 days today. You don't have to wait for the beginning of this challenge. And each day, I send you a new challenge, complete with action items and mindset shifts to help you work through all of the key issues I see that hold us back from recovery. So topics inside of the email challenge include understanding why your period is missing, how to build solid, healthy, caloric, dense meals to ensure that you're getting the nutrition that you need, how to get your support network on board with you, not just letting your friends and family and partner know what's happening, but actually enrolling them in to help you. Lifestyle factors that could be impacting your ability to recover, and of course, the mindset factors and shifts that you need to make along the way. The goal of this challenge is that after 7 days, you'll be feeling knowledgeable, equipped, and inspired to do what you really know that you need to do to get your period back. So, are you ready? Go to 7daychallenge.hapodcast.com or head to the show notes for the link. That's 7daychallenge.hapodcast.com. Hey guys, and welcome back to the HA Podcast. It's me, Danny, and I'm here with Hilary, who's like a early on listener of the show and early on member of the HA Society who's like moved on with her journey, which is awesome to hear. And so we're just going to catch up with and talk about her story and what happened and, where we are now. And it's going to be great. So welcome to the show, Hilary.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I just want to dive in. Tell me about you and, where you believe all of your HA missing period journey started. And just take us on a journey.
Okay. So I think I've actually had HA for 4 years, maybe a little bit longer, but I didn't know I had it because I was on birth control. I had the IUD. So when I got the IUD, I didn't get my period once in 4.5 years. And it wasn't until my husband and I were ready to start a family, and I got the IUD removed, that I found out a couple months later that I had HA. So I think that's definitely like a major part of my story, and like what I don't always hear from other stories is like not knowing you had HA because of the birth control. And I think it's like something important because I've just like, as you know, like, you just learned so much and how like terrible birth control is for you. Obviously, it's like great as a preventative, but it masks a lot of things, I think, for me. So I got off my birth control in February 2020, right before like COVID started. And my doctor told me like, yep, like you should get your period or get like pregnant, like give it 3 months. 3 months went by, not pregnant, didn't have my period. And I was like, that's weird. Like why don't I have my period at least? So I called and he was like, oh, just give it a couple more months. If you still don't have it in June, then we'll do more blood work and we will give you the Provera challenge. So June comes, still no period. And I went in, like they prescribed me the Provera. I did blood work. The nurse I spoke to said everything was normal. And I think that's like an important part too of my story. She said my lab work was normal. And just like don't call back, like just take the Provera and see what happens. So then like I did the Provera challenge and then you have to wait whatever 2 weeks after the one I did. And I was actually on vacation because now it's like rolling into July. So an extended period of time of no period, not pregnant. And I'm like, what the heck? Why does my doctor not care that I don't have my period? And I'm a very big advocate of my health. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep bugging them until I get an answer.
I can't help but feel like so many people's doctor is just almost in a way like stalling the process. Like, well,
Yes.
try wait 2 more months and then we'll put you on this Provera challenge. And it's like, what can I say to not talk to this person for another few months?
I know. And I was like really annoyed because I'm like, I literally took a pill to get my period and I didn't get it. Like, does that not like ring a bell that something is wrong? So I was honestly like just sick of it. And I reached out to like a bunch of people asking who their OBs were because I'm like, I need a second opinion. And I was referred to one doctor who couldn't see me until like September, which I was like, again, it's July. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I want to, honestly, I was like, I just want to get pregnant. And then there was another doctor that one of my really good friends referred me to, and she could actually see me. Like, I think I called on a Friday, and it was like that Monday she could see me. So I was like, perfect. Like, I'm going to go see her. I already have this appointment with this other person. Like, at least I have like a couple of opinions. And so I went and saw her, and, I told her everything like that was going on. And she was like, you have hypothalamic amenorrhea. And I was like, huh? Like, what is that? And she like printed out some information for me. And she was like, you need to stop working out and you need to gain some fat on you. You need to like go eat some bacon. And I was like,
It's cool
what?
that she knew. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So well, now she is like my doctor, and I absolutely love her. She's great. But I was just like, well, what do you mean by like don't work out? Because I am known for like in my community as the girl who does CrossFit, the girl who eats perfect, who knows, I don't want to say everything, but knows so much about nutrition. I just, that's how people identify me. And that's how I identified myself too. So I was like, I was just like, okay, like at my dashboard, like I still didn't process everything that she said. So I was just like, okay. And I left and I was like driving home thinking, I'm like, did she really say like I can't work out? And I was so confused why, like, cause obviously like I never heard of HA prior. And so I come home and like, whatever, I tell my husband, he's just like, okay. And then I really started to like research, and I remember because I'm a big like Working Against Gravity fan, and I would read like the blogs, and I read your blog, Danny, about periods, and I was like, oh, like something triggered. And I was like, oh, I've definitely heard of like HA on this WAG post. So I went back and read it. And then I was like, okay, this was super helpful. And then the resources like the No Period Now What and different podcasts. So I immediately ordered the No Period Now What book. And then whatever it got on Amazon came like the next day. And I started reading it. And I was like, holy shit. Like, first of all, what did I do to myself? And I really need to make like major changes if I want to get pregnant. And my doctor, when I went, my now doctor, when I went to meet her, she didn't have any of like my lab work that I did in June by the time, like, because it was such short notice when I scheduled the appointment. So when I got home from my original doctor's appointment, I sent it to her, and a woman's normal estrogen, and like no one quote me on this, but I believe it's supposed to be between 20 and 50. Do you know? I think it's something like in that range. But mine was negative 15. So she was like, so my blood, all my lab work that nurse told me was perfect actually wasn't. My doctor told me, she's like, there's literally no way that you could get pregnant and or
Yeah.
get a period
The
because you.
thing that's the thing that like that could be is that different labs have different ranges that they
Mhm.
base off, which is so interesting. So that's why we get so many people be like, my person said that I was in the normal ranges or that I was low or that I was high. And like someone else's understanding of like what their lab goes by would say like that's normal. And so it's kind of so you sort of have to go with like what your
Yeah.
practitioner is saying.
Yeah,
And
but
really
she was
trust
like, she was very concerned with it. So, anyways, like the the No Period Now What book came in, and I'm not someone who like half asses things. If I'm gonna do something, I like give it 100%. That's probably like one of my negative traits too. And I went like completely all in. Like 2 days later, as soon as I got the book, and realized that there was literally no chance of me getting pregnant if I didn't go all in. And getting pregnant was like, as you know, like my top priority. Um, I've always wanted to be a mom, and I was ready to start a family
how
with my.
mind blowing for you then to realize you're like always infertile at this point.
Yeah. Well, so I'm not gonna lie. The When I got like diagnosed with HA, that month and a half after, like I was like depressed. I sobbed every single day because not only did I find out that there's no chance of me getting pregnant, which broke my heart, and not getting pregnant overall, just at that point in time. Um, but also the person that I identified as, I could no longer be. And I have my full-time job, and I also have my little side hustle of a nutrition business where I coach clients. And I just felt like the biggest phony. And obviously I know how to coach my clients, like, but I just felt like, oh my God, like how am I supposed to help people with nutrition when I clearly can't even help myself? And I was being very like negative and unrealistic. And after like I was out of that depressive state, I realized like the reason why I can help people is what I tell my clients to do. I don't take my own advice. I just felt like I needed to be perfect eating 100% of the time. And that's what got me into the pickle I was in. Because not only was I overtraining, not eating enough for how much I was training, and then also just general stress from work. The year before, I was like planning our wedding, just, general life stress. I didn't realize how much it was actually affecting my body. Um, and
How has it impacted you as a coach now?
so I would say, if anything, it really hasn't changed me coaching people. I'm going to be honest, because I never tell my clients what they can and cannot eat. I want them to find, if they want to have ice, if I coach a lot of moms, and if one of my moms wants to have ice cream with their kids on a Saturday afternoon, I tell them go and do it, and just don't let it spiral, because a lot of my clients unfortunately end up spiraling like in a negative state with their food after. It's more of, you had your ice cream, all right, let's have your next meal be like the protein, veggies, carbs that you originally planned, that is like a healthy, nutritious meal that's going to make you feel good. Whereas I would just never have ice cream. Like never. Or
Yeah,
never.
we're actually much better at coaching other people
Yes.
than, but you are like, I'm on a different level where like I have to be elite and super disciplined. I'm just helping that person live like a normal life. And this whole time, you should be there too.
Exactly. It I just took it to an extreme because I just felt like I just need to be perfect for people. And I had so many of my clients and people from CrossFit who I just love dearly, just saying like how much they looked up to me. And I loved, obviously, like, who doesn't love hearing that they're looked up to? And I just felt like I had to lead this example. And I put so much unneeded pressure on myself to be perfect with my food and my training. And I think that is definitely why I got HA. And also just thinking back, like when I was first starting to train and getting to CrossFit, like I was naive with food. I used to think like carbs were the enemy, and then, learned over time that they're not. But it took me a long time to get there. And I definitely did more damage to my body than I realized.
Yeah. Sounds like an emotional roller coaster in a
It,
way.
yeah, it definitely was. Even still, sometimes I find myself like just not like, I don't want to say like knowing who I am, because I do, but just the whole HA experience really changed me. But I think it changed me in the better, like a more
Yeah.
relaxed,
You
calm.
know what you know what I feel like it is? It's your life suddenly opens up to like, oh, I'm not this black and white person that just is this one way and this is how I identify. I'm actually way more complex and I'm interested in these things, and these two things contradict each other a little bit, right? Like I'm interested in weight loss and performance and helping people have a body composition that they love, and I am also interested in not being obsessed with that.
Yeah,
And now I'm opened my eyes to this other side, and they contradict each other. And at the beginning, it's really stressful to have that realization because you're like, oh, what am I? And then with time, and you're meeting other people who have gone through the same thing, and yeah, there's more gray. There's more gray in between where you can be a little bit of both, and it's okay.
absolutely. And then, that's when I was searching for I knew I needed help with like other girls who had HA. And I was so thankful that like I literally found your group when it was first starting in your podcast. So it was like such a saving grace for me, because I'm not going to lie, if I didn't find it, I mean, I know I would have been okay, but I just felt like my spiral would have lasted longer.
Mm,
Um, and I was so supportive for like the other girls, and for just like hearing their stories too, even if they were very different than mine. It was just nice to know that I wasn't alone. And we all, I would say a majority of us, well, at least at that time when I was meeting with the girls, that most of us wanted to get pregnant. And I
that's the same.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Maybe like 50% or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah. Well, I mean, or at least that's just the catalyst for so many people.
yeah, definitely. So I was like so thankful, but um went all in, and my doctor, actually, she referred me to Boston IVF because I'm from Massachusetts. So it wasn't, she like told me, she's like, it's not for IVF treatments. It's just to see a doctor who can kind of help do more testing. But obviously you can't be like, obviously I was scared. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting referred to Boston IVF. Like, is there really something wrong with me again in the middle of this? So I actually found out my doctor with Boston IVF was one of like the top, he's like the top doctor in the country and like the number one in our state for patients who have HA. So I was like, oh, at least I'm in good hands. And he told me he only sees 1 or 2 HA patients a year. And I was like, oh, great. I'm one of the lucky ones that he sees.
That's
But
weird to me. That doesn't
yeah,
sound right.
no, but I think if anything, it just tells how many girls are probably not diagnosed properly with having
Yeah, I'm
HA.
like, I think y'all just don't realize because we have so many girls in the group who have already tried IVF and it
Yeah.
didn't work. And now, through their own research of like, why did IVF not work for me, have discovered that they have HA. And so I think when you said like I was referred to an IVF clinic about HA, I was kind of like, that sounds rare. Because
Yeah.
usually you're referred there and they have no idea what
No,
what it is.
and that's what like I'm not gonna lie, like if anything, I was like thankful because my doctor, his name was Dr. Pang, it's just easy for me to call him that. He like knew all about it. He actually told me, he's like, did you read the book No Period Now What? And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I already read it twice by the time we met. And but he helped me, I got like the HSG, and then he did more lab work with me, and he like that it took probably about a month, like, just setting up appointments and whatnot. And then we had a follow-up meeting, and he said to me, he's like, Hillary, you're good. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to get pregnant. If you're not pregnant in 6 months, then contact me again. So by the time we had that like final meeting was now October. And um, October was the first month that I got my first natural period, which was like huge for me. I like celebrated with like wine and pizza. I was
Yeah,
so
I
happy.
remember you were like one of the first because we opened in September, so you joined in September and then
Yeah.
October, yeah, you had a period and there was
Yeah.
pizza.
Yes, it was. It was delicious. But I was so happy because also meeting with Dr. Payne, he prescribed me again to do the Provera challenge because it was my second time, and he wanted to see what would happen. And I did, for the first time, like get a withdrawal bleed. So that was exciting. And then to, a month later, get my own natural period, that was super exciting. And so when I had my follow-up meeting and he told me everything was good, I was able to tell him like, yeah, I got my I got my period on my own. I did it by myself. And so that's when he's like, yep, give it 6 months. And probably like 3 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. So
So soon, so
mhm.
quick. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I couldn't like I was really not expecting to get pregnant right away after having like my first period.
It's so funny, like, it's so funny because, I mean, but why wouldn't you? Do you?
Yeah.
Yes, so many people do have like their first period is not an optimal cycle, and so they
Mhm.
can't. But, a lot of people, especially those who went as hard as you did on eating the things and resting, like, it actually makes a lot of sense. But
Mhm.
it just is so shocking because life just is filled with these like obstacles and everything's hard and blah blah blah, and then but your body wants to do this,
It
so
definitely. And I had so I didn't post right away. Well, not that I need to post something to justify it, but like when I got diagnosed with in July with HA, I was embarrassed.
Mhm.
And I don't think like I really shared it to people who weren't like outside of my close friends and like put it on social media. It was probably like 2 months after, maybe 2.5 months. Um, and after I put a post about me having HA, I had so many people reach out, like other girls who were struggling with HA, which was fabulous. And a lot of them, like, which I'm sure you're familiar with, like, what did you do? Like, how are you getting your period back? Like, how are you getting pregnant? And again, at this point in time, I was not pregnant. And I literally just say, like, you don't want to hear it, but you have to just go all in and give your body the rest it needs. And trust me, like, this is coming from someone who would train 2.5 hours a day, and literally, like, the amount of vegetables I would consume is not normal. Like, most of my carbs were from vegetables. But I train, not only would I train like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending on the day, but I was also active, like walking my dogs, doing yard work, just being an active person. And I don't think a lot of people realize, like, how powerful, first of all, walking is, and just doing general life tasks, like how much stress it does put on your body on top of working out. So I that's why when I decided to go all in, I was like, it was like a major shock to my body. And I gained 20, in between 20 and 25 pounds. I kind of towards the end was not really weighing myself and was just going based off of how I felt. Because in general, I'm not someone who like really weighs myself. Even when I was at my like leanest, I was like, I literally have, when I was at my leanest, I had a complete six pack, but no one would believe my body weight. Cause I, like, the scale said I weighed 136, but people would guess I weighed like 115. And I'm like, nope, it's just cause it's just muscle weighs more than fat. And so I did like a complete change to my body, and I was embarrassed. Like, we took Christmas card photos in November before I found out I was pregnant. And, I was, like I said, 20 to 25 pounds heavier. And
Fine.
I was nervous to send it out to people. I mean, honestly, the photo is like, it's a great family photo, but I was nervous. But just life goes on, and you're not always going to look the same. And now that I'm pregnant, it was so worth it at the time to just go all in.
Yeah. I almost want to touch on that a bit with like your your body changes, and it's
Mhm.
hard in the moment, right? To like look at
Yeah.
a photo of yourself or in the mirror or see an old photo of yourself,
Mhm.
and it's like a real punch in the vagina
It
sometimes.
is.
And a lot of us have a really hard time with it because of this mindset that especially us in like first world countries have been given this belief that like if you work hard and put it all in, like you can have it all,
Mhm.
and you should have it all, and you should be this way, and
Yep.
you should strive to be this way. And it's a big lesson a lot of us learn thanks to HA is like,
Mhm.
again, it's not that black and white. Like,
No.
you are not as in control as you think you are, and you really sometimes need to let go of that rigid control you have of all these things you have going on, and let something give. And for many of us,
It's hard.
letting it give is this obsession with our six pack
Mhm.
or our body. And how has it been for you since? I know you're pregnant, so maybe that like changes things. Are you nervous about life postpartum? Like, what do you
Yeah.
feel about it now?
So, honestly, something that this whole experience has taught me is like, I didn't appreciate my body enough. Like, I did look back at old photos of myself when I was like training a bunch and like eating whatever, quote unquote, perfect. And I literally thought I looked like fat in the photos. And now I look back, I'm like, what the hell was
Yeah.
wrong with me? And if anything, I'm mad at myself for not appreciating the work I did at that point of time. So now, and I didn't realize it like when I first decided to go all in, I like I said, hated hated my life. I got rid of all my clothes. But now that it's been some time, I'm just trying to appreciate my body and like love my body at this point in time, because it's not always going to be like that, especially being pregnant. Like, I'm embracing my, like, everything getting bigger, like my boobs, my butt, obviously my belly and my thighs. Like, I honestly, I love it. I love being pregnant and just how, like, realistically, like, how often in our lifetime as women are we gonna be pregnant? Like, I guess if you're like the Duggar family and have 20 kids, like, it's gonna be a lot, but that's not gonna be me.
Yeah.
So I'm just like embracing it, and again, learning from my HA experience of not, I'm mad I never appreciated the body. I didn't appreciate enough the body that I worked really hard for, because I don't regret anything that I did prior to HA. Would I have changed some things? Absolutely, but I can't. So I'm not going to regret it. I wish I appreciated it more then. So, but if anything, like I said, it's helping me appreciate my body now. And I'm freaking pumped for, like, after I have my son, because I think it's now having HA, it's helping me, like, realize, okay, the day after I have him, I don't need to, obviously I can't be working out or be eating perfect, like
Which you totally would have been, that you were like,
Yes.
how quickly am I going to be able to get back? Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I'm not going to lie, like, I still have those thoughts. It's not something that's just going to go away, but now it's creating that new habit of, when those thoughts come, like, no, listen to your body, like, let it heal. So I'm excited for after my son comes, because I just want to listen to my body and what it needs, also what he needs too. And just honestly, I just want to take it as it comes and appreciate it. I say it, but I, may feel differently after. I'm not going to lie. Like, I do think it's going to be a little bit hard, because he's coming in the middle of July, and I am someone, like, I love, like, being outside, and, after having a baby and then it's still being warm here in New England, like, I do think that's gonna be tough, like, to be in a bathing suit. But I'm just gonna take it as it comes and really try to remember, like, to love the body I have now, because the body I had when I was at my leanest couldn't give me a child. The body that I gained when I gained that 25 pounds with could give me a child. And that's what I want. That's what I wanted, like, the most in this world. So I have to keep that in mind, like, after postpartum, like, when I am trying to lose, like, the baby weight, that I can't go back to my old habits and my old thoughts of, what training should be, because first of all, it's not realistic for me anymore. I in general cannot train for 2 hours, especially not with a baby coming. Just be happy with, like, 30 minutes, and just, overall eating well, and just enjoy my time.
This episode is brought to you by Vital Proteins. I have been a collagen freak for ages, and I started off making my own bone broth because I could not find a collagen supplement that I actually liked. I started taking collagen early in my HA recovery, and no, it's not going to return your period, but it is going to support you along the way. As I was learning about how to optimize my health and my skin and how to return my cycle, all of the things, it became apparent that in the past, I had been exclusively eating, like, lean meats, avoiding the fattier cuts, avoiding meat on the bone, avoiding eating enough animal protein or animal products in general. And all of those things bring important vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that are really important for fertility. And one of those things was collagen, and it's the most abundant protein in your body. And it has an important role, like, it provides structure to your skin, and it helps your blood clot. It's one of the major building blocks of your bones and your skin and your muscles and your tendons and your ligaments. It's also found in many other body parts, like blood vessels and your corneas and your teeth. So you can kind of think of it like the glue that holds all of these things in our body together. When I started taking collagen and drinking bone broth and all of that good stuff, I started noticing a huge improvement in my skin and my hair and my nails. Like, that was the first thing I noticed. And that's because collagen stimulates cells that boost the production of new collagen to support healthy hair, nails, and skin, as well as boost the production of new collagen to support healthy bones and joints and muscles and tendons, which we all know is really important right now, especially if we have been missing our cycle for a bit. Making my bone broth got really tiring as much as I love it, especially in the summer. I did not want to be cooking this big pot of soup every week for hours and like dealing with this animal, this like chicken carcass, and it was all of a lot of work. So I was really excited when I finally found Vital Proteins. Today, they have a bunch of products and I love them. And I take the collagen peptide powder. So each serve of Vital Proteins, it depends, they have lots of different products, but the one I take, it has a serve of 20 grams of collagen, 100% of my daily value of vitamin C, which is an important vitamin antioxidant that can help promote the production of collagen inside of your skin, which is, really good for your skin. So it comes in a powder form, which I love because it dissolves in either hot or cold liquids, so coffees and smoothies. And I actually mix mine into my yogurt bowl each morning. So I'm having plenty of fats from that, like fats from the yogurt and carbs from all of the fruit and the goodies that I put on it. And then protein also from the dairy, but adding in the collagen just helps boost it up and get me more of what I've been missing for quite some time. So add some Vital Proteins collagen to your day. Head to vitalproteins.thehasociety.com or head to the link in the show notes and shop their whole range to find a collagen addition that works for you. If you subscribe to their mailing list, you'll get 25% off your very first order. And if you stay subscribed, you continue to receive 15% off. So it's definitely worth checking out. And they do ship internationally. Head to vitalproteins.thehasociety.com or go to the link in the show notes. Yeah, I think it's just like a part of, because we're only in our 20s, right? You're the same age as me, 29.
Yeah, I'm 29.
Yeah. Guys, we're the same age and we're the same gestational weeks, aren't we? What are you, 28?
I'm 29 weeks today.
Okay, I'm 28. So
I think we're only like a couple days off.
But we have this like the same due date.
I know, which is weird.
I don't
get it.
She knew she was pregnant before me and everything, and it felt like it was a couple weeks, and then I got pregnant, and then I have the same due date as you. So bizarre.
I know.
Anyway.
You must have been pregnant longer than you realize.
No. I could tell you the day I got pregnant. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, maybe we'll compare notes there, but
yeah,
I just like doubt it. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know, but maybe it's, I have no idea, but it's,
it's complicated.
Yes.
And you said how, like you looked at your old body and you're trying to like appreciate it instead of being like, oh my God, I regret this. What have I done? But back then when you had that body, you couldn't see it, right? You were like more.
Yes.
And I think that also just goes to show that like, there's never enough, is there? No. Like we always want more. And so like a big lesson here is, the body you're in now, maybe one day when you're an 80-year-old lady, you'll be like, oh, look at like my young 29-year-old postpartum body. Like
exactly.
There's never enough. And chasing that small body, like you were never going to appreciate it without this journey.
No. And honestly, like I'm glad this journey did happen to me. Because it made me appreciate what I had. And I'm someone who always, my entire life, struggled with body image issues. When I was in high school, I was overweight. And it wasn't until I was like in my spring semester of college where I just honestly decided to get my shit together because I ate horrible. And it's not, I mean that from like a general like lifestyle, like no one should be eating McDonald's like 7 days a week and like just a bunch of fast food and never like I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I muted myself. I was just saying, like let's be real. Everyone's that living off McDonald's is just like not a good prescription. No. I don't care if you have HA.
Exactly. And like when my husband and I, when we first started dating, so we have been together since we were 18, I would get headaches and he would be like, when's the last time you had water? I'm like, 3 weeks ago. Like I would only drink soda, for example. So I just like wasn't on a good path. And it wasn't until, like I said, my spring semester of my freshman year of college where I kind of got my shit together. It was just like, you know what, I need to like reel it in. And then, I later started to find CrossFit, and, I am someone who's a CrossFit junkie. I mean, I'm the oldest. I have three younger sisters, and two of my sisters do CrossFit. My dad does. And like my whole family, my mom and my other sister who don't do CrossFit are big supporters of it. Like my godfather does it. Like I I've met so many amazing people through CrossFit that it's, yes, it is like the working out, but it's the community for me. I mean, at my wedding, I had 40 people from my CrossFit gym come, and I regret that I didn't invite more. So, like, I definitely, like, when it comes to nutrition, it took me a long time to learn, like, because I was on that paleo kick where it's like no carbs, no carbs, or, just I was in such a different, it took me a long time to like learn how to properly eat and fuel my body. And honestly, like I'm still learning. Like obviously because I had HA, like I still wasn't fueling my body enough. Like I'm like, geez, I eat 256 grams of carbs a day. Like that should be more than enough. But unfortunately it wasn't.
Yeah, it's like it was a lot of fiber.
Yeah. Yeah. I love broccoli. It's like way too much broccoli.
I know. Yeah, it's mind blowing to realize. I don't know, to have missed this.
Yeah, like it, like we've been talking about, like it just, it opened my eyes that I can like enjoy an ice cream with my friends and it's not gonna change my progress, which I knew and I know because that's what I would tell my clients, but I just never did it myself.
Yeah, because like but what if I actually did it perfectly? Like what if I didn't find balance and I was just like a freak?
I never found balance. Like and that's definitely, I'm a very like most HA girls, like type A. And like I would, was told like once, like, Hill, you eat like you are at the CrossFit games, like perfect. Obviously I don't know that for 100% fact, but this is just like my mediocre, like small town.
You got your Tupperwares.
Yes.
When we're all going to the restaurant, you're bringing
Well,
your
no, I
Tupperware.
never did that. But I never did that. But and it was like, who was I? I was a no one with CrossFit. Like I just did it to work out and to see people and have fun. Like I obviously, like I wasn't making it a career.
It's fun to apply yourself to something.
Yes.
Especially when you're an HA. And that's going through this is really tough when you love to apply yourself to something, because you can apply yourself to like getting your period back, but that's problematic too.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a real lesson in like doing things you're uncomfortable with. And people who absolutely struggle to apply themselves to anything, they have this realization in the opposite sense, right? Where they realize that they want something, and unless they try really hard, they're not going to get it. So they go through the same thing in the opposite way.
Exactly. But I know you asked me like a original question a while ago. I don't even remember.
Well, yeah, I mean, so we've talked about the journey and how it all felt, and when you got your period back, and now you're pregnant. So we covered like the story. So what, I guess, for anyone listening, especially those that resonate with your story in particular, because it's a lot of people, right? What do you just want them to know? Because right now they're listening, still in the middle of it all.
Yeah. I just want them to know that it's okay to go all in. Like, it's okay to gain the weight. It's really fucking hard. Like, I don't know what other way to put it. It's really fucking hard. It sucks when your clothes don't fit you. That was for me the hardest part. Honestly, that was harder for me than like seeing the number on the scale. And you know what I did? I went into my closet and my drawers and I took out every single thing that didn't fit me or that I felt was going to make me uncomfortable. And thank God I have 3 sisters. I gave them to my sisters or I gave them to my friends. I was like, I just need them out of my house. It sucked not really having many clothes that fit. But and I would get annoyed when people were like, you can just buy some more because obviously like it costs money, but just it adds up over time. And if you are looking to get pregnant and you have HA and you're in the midst of it, it is so worth it. Like when I found out I was pregnant, I like honestly, I kind of went into panic mode because I like couldn't believe it.
That's right. You kept peeing on luteal strips.
Yes.
That's hilarious. And they were all high for like a week.
No, so that's how I found out I was pregnant. So I don't know, I love saying this story. So it was like the weekend and I remember telling you like my boob, like our posting in the group, I was like, my boobs are so itchy. Sorry, like TMI to everyone listening.
Real good.
I was like, what? Like, this is so weird.
My boobs hurt and I've been about to ovulate forever.
Well, I was like, this is weird. So whatever, like the weekend happens and I'm not gonna lie, like I had a little feeling like, I wonder if I'm pregnant. But part of it was I knew my period, like my November period was coming up. And I was just like, nope, wait, like don't get your hopes up. And so anyways, it's a Monday and I went to like this up here in Mass, we have like a Big Lots. And I'm like, if I see a if I see a pregnancy test there, I'm going to grab it. And I didn't see one. So I'm like, that's a sign. I go home, I do like the ovulation strip and it was high. And I'm like, oh, that's weird because it was high a couple of weeks ago. So I was like, can that happen again? And I was like, all right, odd and whatever. So then it was a Tuesday morning and I was waiting to go to work and it was still bothering me, like why it was high. Like I didn't say bothering me, but it was just like in my mind. So I posted in the support group for the No Period Now What on Facebook. And one of the girls like commented and she's like, that's how I found out I was pregnant. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go do another one. Cause I had like so many, cause one of my friends got pregnant and she gave me all her ovulation strips too. So I had like literally hundreds of them. So I was like, I'm going to go do another one. If it is high, I'm going to get a pregnancy test. Mm-hmm. I did another one. It was high. Obviously I knew instantly that I was pregnant. Mm-hmm. And so I ran to CVS and I grabbed, I got 2 pregnancy tests and they were both positive. And I literally was like, holy shit. Like I couldn't believe it. And then I was like dying to tell my husband. And I went to his work that day for like at lunchtime. I was like, I'm like, I can't be at work. I have to go tell him. And I like, obviously I wasn't going to text him. So I like flew to his work and told him in person. And then after it's like
you couldn't wait for him to get home.
No, my wonderful husband, like he leaves at like 6:30 in the morning. And most of the nights he doesn't get home. Like the earliest would be 6:30. So it would be like 12 hours. And I could not sit there I was like shaking the whole morning.
Funny.
So I was like, I have to go tell him. And, then after, you can't help but I'm sure you felt this way too, like nervous about miscarriage as well. But I'm, lucky that didn't happen to me. And now I'm pregnant with my son, Vincent. And I'm just like, so I don't know if this would be like helpful too for listeners. But like, obviously, I gained 25 pounds and then, now being pregnant. So it's May. I found out I was pregnant in November. I've gained like 19 pounds since then too. So the weight gain for pregnancy doesn't bother me because it's good for him. And he's
your body's going to do what it needs to do.
Yeah, it needs to. And that's what's healthiest for him. So like advice for like girls who are in the midst of it is just, if you're trying to get pregnant, just go all in. If you're just trying to get your period back, just go all in. It's temporary. It's like, if you're really sick, like, would you rather just like rest for a couple days and get over your cold, or just like continuing with your life and just dragging it out for a month?
Yeah.
So
yeah, if only we felt more like intense symptoms to get us to get us to take action, but it's such a slow burn that you don't even like realize that you feel like shit.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like, it's hard to make that change, especially if you're someone who likes to work out or walk their dog or just be active. Like, it's really hard. Like, I honestly think it's like harder than when you're working out, because it's the mental part.
Yes, because you're doing this thing for a result that like you don't really want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In order to get a result that you do want, like further down the track, and I know
it's tough, but it's so worth it.
Yeah,
and I think, like, even talking with people who I like want to get pregnant in the future, it's like you look at their bodies, or even myself, and it like remembering for like because we want more than one kid, for after, like, all right, I have to make sure like my body is in a good state to get pregnant, because like your body needs fat to get pregnant. And this is just my belief, your body needs fat too to also keep the pregnancy. So I think it's just important for other girls to know, like, it's really hard, but you can do it. But it definitely sucks.
Yeah. I think this was a very inspiring story for a lot of people. A lot of people will relate. A lot of people will feel good knowing that you had the fears that they had, that you still did it, and that it was worth it. Like, that's the point. So appreciate it. Where can people go and ask you questions if they need to be like, oh my God, what did you do? Blah, 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 blah.
They can find me on Instagram. It's my Instagram name is obviously at Hilary with one L, so Hilary Taylor 20.
I'll put that in the show notes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Hilary. It was really good to get you on the show, one of my OGs. So I'm just excited to be getting around to like getting all of those girls sharing their stories now.
Me too. And we'll see like who wins having the baby first.
So thank you so much for listening today, guys. Please subscribe to the podcast, and if you could head to iTunes specifically and leave a rating or review, that would help so much, because it makes it easier for other people with HA who are Googling around to find the podcast really easily. So if you do that, you're doing a service to all of the women.
Finally, a bed that senses snoring and automatically responds. Meet the Ergo Smart Base from Tempur-Pedic, our first system that detects snoring, then automatically adjusts by raising the bed. Get your best sleep all night, every night. Now, save up to $500 on select adjustable mattress sets during the Tempur-Pedic Black Friday event. Get full offer details at TempurPedic.com.
Lacuna Health is a call center that goes beyond answering calls. Our highly trained staff handles the clinical needs of patients and extends the care of your practice 24/7. Our experienced RNs offer HIPAA-compliant nurse triage that helps to reduce unnecessary emergency room visits and monitor patient health using your standards and protocols. We answer calls within 30 seconds, and patients have nursing care within 30 minutes. Click Contact Us at lacunahealth.com to see how we can help.